Hello, everyone, and happy holidays. I'm Andrew Schwartz, the director of the Central Sierra Snow Lab. I'm here to talk about our upcoming 2 to 3 days of big snow. Last week, I talked a little bit about the rain that was coming in. Now we're looking ahead to December 24th through the 26th and this big storm that's moving into the area. We're going to nail down some of those things that I was a little bit cautious about doing last week. Things like our snowfall totals, as well as the hazards that we're going to see. So let's go ahead and look over at our models, and I'll go ahead and pop myself up there. So we're going to start off by kind of talking about the two periods that are going to separate the storm system. I'm going to go ahead and do a loop. This is not... This is a European model, so European medium range model. This is more just to get an indication of the timing of this rather than looking at overall the totals for snowfall. So we're going to step through this. You can kind of see as we get into later tonight, early tomorrow morning, we start to see some rain, maybe some mixed precipitation. Rains are going to be these greens, these yellows, these oranges. The closer to red it is, the heavier it is. Any of these purples are going to be mixed precipitation, so rain and snow. And then snow is going to be blue, and the darker that blue gets, it's going to be heavier snow, with pink being the heaviest snow. If you're curious about what time this is predicting, you can look in the top left here. Like, for instance, right now this time step is December 24th at 1 a.m. So as we step forward, we see that mixed precipitation here, but we see heavy mixed precipitation, right? Start early tomorrow morning around 4 a.m., continue to 7 a.m., and then through later in the morning. So as we get to 1 p.m., which is this timestamp, and then in the afternoon, we start to see it lighten up again, a little break in that storm. And then as we go into tomorrow night, 10 p.m., 1 a.m., 4 a.m., 7 a.m., this is when heavier precipitation moves in again. So overnight, the 24th into the 25th, there's a second round of heavy precipitation that continues overnight and into the 26th, and then things kind of taper off a little bit. So that's what we're looking at in terms of timing. We're looking at an initial push tomorrow, early morning to midday, a little bit of a break midday through early evening, and then heavier precipitation again, basically until the 26th. So if we step over here to look at totals, this is a different way of looking at what we call ensemble models. These are just a bunch of different models run kind of all at once to give us average conditions that we can depend on a little bit more than any one individual model run. So on the left is our accumulated precipitation, which is if all of our rain and snow fell as liquid, fell as only rain, this is what we would get. And we can see that both models are showing a pretty high confidence that we'd be getting around 6 inches of precipitation. The timing on that is a little different from model to model, especially around the beginning of the 25th, as you can see here, but roughly on par. I do want to mention, compared to the other map, compared to the maps before, you'll notice that these plots are in UTC time, or Zulu. This is the time in London, and that's how we standardize a lot of our meteorological products. To get that to local time, subtract 8 hours. So right now I'm hovering over 0Z on the 25th. If we subtract 8 hours, that gets to be 4 p.m. our time. 0Z is midnight their time, so that's 4 p.m. our time. And you can see that we have a little bit of a break in our precip going on around that time. So again, we're seeing that kind of two heavier portions occur. If we come over to this right image, which is our accumulated snowfall, we can see the models are a lot closer than they have been, and we're locking in somewhere around 3 to 4 feet on average between those 2 days, really. So very heavy snowfall is likely between those 2 days. I think temperatures are going to be a little warm to start off. Our road surfaces, even though we got some snow yesterday, are still pretty warm, as is the ground. So I think we're going to see some melt. I would be more inclined to say closer to 3 feet, maybe 3.5 than 4. but that's what we're looking at this point. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is just bring us back over here, do a recap. 2 periods, one early tomorrow morning, the December 24th, and then a secondary one moving in late the 24th and early the 25th. That'll be really heavy in precipitation. Now, the hazards, obviously heavy snowfall, right? We're getting 2 to 4 feet, 3 to 4 feet, something like that. Probably closer to 3.5 overall. Heavy periods of snowfall. That means whiteout conditions. That means road closures. That means a lot of hazards in that regard. The other thing we're looking at is we're looking at winds of 50 to 60 miles an hour in Soda Springs. That means that on ridge tops, it's going to be much higher, possibly above 100. And that means that tree branches will go down. It's likely to see power interruptions and power outages because of those tree branches. And overall, it's going to be nasty. So if you need to travel for the holiday anywhere around the Sierra, do it today and do it before early tomorrow morning on the 24th. Otherwise, hold off until maybe midday on the 26th to let a lot of these issues resolve themselves. Other than that, very interested to see how the storm goes. I'm excited for it. Stay safe out there. And again, happy holidays. Thanks.